Welcome to Beyond Common Sense and Happy New Year 2023. Yes, it is January 14th, so I'm 2 weeks behind, but I'm here and it is a new year and I'm very excited. I'm glad to be back. I hope to be able to get back in the saddle with some of these things like writing and podcasting that I've had to put on the shelf for a while. As probably most of you know, the last 2.5 years we have been caring for my mom, who surprisingly went into dementia, and it was a difficult 2.5 years. I don't want to go on about that. I'm ready to go on to a new year, but I will say some reasons it was so difficult was, first of all, we were empty nesters. We were so independent, so used to working together and having alone time, and that was suddenly gone. As well, we were going through the church transition. My husband was not retiring. People ask him that all the time. No, he is not retired. We did get an assistant, and he and his family have been such a great blessing. July, they switched. So Tom is now what he has always desired to be. He's an assistant pastor. And we are so excited to really be able to get back in the saddle full time and really start serving the Lord without the heavy weight that we've had for the last couple of years. So that's really exciting. Job 23:10 says, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold." I don't know if I've come forth as gold, but I do know this. I am definitely not the same person I was 2.5 years ago. I have learned a lot about me. It was not all good, what I learned. And I have learned so much about the wonderful God we serve. And I'm excited to share some of that with you in future podcasts. This is sort of just an introduction back into who is Wanda MacAvoy and what in the world is Beyond Common Sense. Well, first and foremost, I'm a servant of Jesus Christ. And one of those ways that I long and desire to serve him is through writing. I've had to put the books on hold, a lot of my writing on hold, as we cared for Mom full time. Basically, our lives were put on hold. Do I regret that? Absolutely not. It was difficult, but I wouldn't change anything about it. I wish I could have done it better. And God gave such grace beyond measure. His grace truly is sufficient. We run out of strength. We run out of hope, but his grace is sufficient. His strength will never let you down. He will always be the hope that we cling to through all circumstances. So just as a side, I don't know where you are. I hope that you're facing a wonderful day and week, but if not, and you're facing great trials and difficulties and heartbreak, know that God does not change. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. What a great glory that is. The same God that gave the promise to Abraham thousands of years ago is the God who will lead you through and will bring you forth as gold if you will yield. One of the things that God taught me during this time was that I often felt I was under the knife. God was doing surgery on my heart, and he would remind me, "Wanda, just be still, lie still, and let me do my work, because it'll be a lot easier." And sometimes he had to cut very deeply. But the thing that I did learn was that, how do you lie still? How do we be still and know that he is our God? We surrender. We surrender our wills. I had to many times just surrender my life over to him, knowing that he knew what was best. It was not what I would have chosen. It is what God called us to. And through it, he taught me so many things. So now what? Well, Lord willing, I will be podcasting again more regularly. I would like to finish recording Still Waters that had to be put on hold. My books. I am excited to get back to my books. I hope to do some local things, try to put my books out there. If you know me, you know I have a very difficult time pushing myself and my books. But Steve Lobby, who is a literary agent for his own agency, said this: if your books are to be a ministry, people must read them. And to read them, they must buy them, and you must sell them. That really struck a chord with me. If this is a ministry, I am not pushing me, I'm pushing God's message. And I don't know if you know this, but the hashtag I chose is true gospel fiction. My books are filled with the gospel, clear gospel messages, clear life-size gospel decisions of watching God work in my characters. And they truly are inspirational, challenging the writer and the reader to look at their lives and live more for God. So that's the second thing on my list, to also try to move forward with selling my books. What about writing? Well, writing is the joy of this process, but I need to ratchet up on the selling part of books. While taking care of Mom, I did take lots of notes and kept a journal, and I think there will be a book out about that, mainly written for people who are in that 24/7 caregiving role. It's very different to have someone you love that has dementia and to live with someone and care for them. And so I'd like to pass on some of the things that I learned through that journey, just to be encouragement, especially to the born-again believer who's in that role. And then what else? Well, there may be another book coming out, a sequel to Spirit Rock. I may start to work on that. It does require a lot of research, so there is not a book in the near future, but there may be a book called Painted Rock. How do I come up with these names? Well, Spirit Rock was named for such because for Ahanu, the Susquehannock main character, he was familiar with spirits, and his tribe would do many spiritual rituals on what I called Spirit Rock. It's also in that book where Ahanu finds Christ, so I named it Spirit Rock. Then I jumped to Cleft Rock. The main character, Jack Kilgus, who is characterized loosely by my father, needed to break, and that rock need to split open so that Christ come in. Why Painted Rock? Because as I've done some research, these dear people that we call Native Americans or Indians or Susquehannocks, Iroquois, all of these natives of this area, to become part of the European colonies, they had to drop some of their traditions. And Painted Rock is going to be a story of how they had to blend in. I'm excited. Where there is no vision, the people perish. So I guess I'll end with this challenge. What's your vision for 2023? What would God have you to do? Well, I could never write a book. That's fine. But there's something you could do. You know, it might just be a sympathy card. I have to tell you, I have been so blessed by the cards that I have received from people, and it has been a challenge to me to make that more a part of my habit. Or maybe it's just a card of encouragement. Maybe it's a phone call. I don't know. Maybe it's just caring for some children of a weary mother. I don't know. The sky's the limit of what you can do for God. Maybe you want to check it out and start volunteering somewhere, someplace where you can just shine for Jesus. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say, I hope you'll be in church tomorrow. I hope you will be serving God and going and worshiping with those people whom you call family in the family of God. What a joy. If you have a group like that, you are most blessed and most obedient. And isn't that what we all should be? Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a good and godly day.